Hello everybody and welcome, I am Boom, and today we're going to see if we can beat the game Pokemon FireRed with only a Porygon 2. Now the answer is yes, because I actually did a run with a singular, regular Porygon back about a year ago, but we beat the game at level 85, and given the fact that Porygon 2 has better stats than its pre-Evo counterpart, I want to see if we can beat it at a much lower level. Ideally, I'd like to beat this around level 65, which I don't think will be totally impossible. For the rival, I do end up giving him Charizard, since that'll probably be the hardest for us to face. For our ability, we have Trace, which in a Nuzlocke can actually be incredibly useful. In this case, it's not the worst that we could have. Trace allows us to copy the ability of the first Pokemon that gets sent out, so the good news is we'll copy Kenai for the rival battle every single time, so there won't be any accuracy issues whatsoever this time around. We have a relaxed nature, upping defense and lowering speed. Since we can get the Quick Claw, honestly, that's not too bad. For the lab rival battle, we can do a good chunk of damage with each attack, and it's only doing 3 HP worth of damage every turn. So in a few turns, we've won this, and it's time to move on. As we move into the beginning of the game, let's go ahead and look at the moveset of this Pokemon. Level up wise, we have a good few options that'll get us through the first part of the game, but once we get access to Celadon, that's when we're going to be able to ramp things up, because Porygon is one of those blessed with a normal type moveset where it can just learn a little bit of everything. Now, I'll be honest, we did try the rival fight right away, the optional one, but ultimately, we're not able to take out the Pidgey, let alone the Charmander, so we go ahead, go through the forest, and then after that, we'll go ahead and double back, try the rival fight. The rival first starts with Pidgey, and we open with Tackle, taking it to not quite half. Tackle doesn't do much to us in return, and we do take it down 2 turns later. After that, Charmander is out, and we do trade a decent amount of attacks back and forth, but we do take it down with plenty of HP to spare. From there, it's a jaunt back through the forest, and we make sure to fight everything along the way, mostly to get access to Psybeam at level 12. Without that, facing Brock would not go too well, even with conversion 2. At the somewhat low level of 12, we go ahead and face Brock, and Geodude is the first Pokemon he sends out. With Psybeam, we take it to yellow as it uses Defense Curl, and then we take it down. Afterwards, you have Onix, and we take it to yellow as it uses a weak Tackle before going down to win us the first of the gym badges. Alright, after that, it's time to head to Cerulean, and it's at this time I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel. We're working on watch hours as always, about 500 away, I think, from full partner. And if you want to hang out outside of the YouTube verse, there's also the Discord, which I'll provide a link to. Last thing, of course, is that our channel is open to memberships now, so if you want to help out financially, that is always an option to get some emotes only available here. With that being said, though, never worry, because I will never hide this video or any future videos behind a paywall. That's not who I am. That's not who I'd ever be. No shame to those who do, especially if this is your primary job. It's just not something that I plan to do, partially because I do also have other income coming in. And lastly, and I cannot stress this enough, the Dome Fossil is the only fossil that matters. Now that we're in Cerulean, we're going to go ahead and go for the rival fight first. Given the fact that Misty will resist our attacks, I think we'll need a little extra oomph before we face off against her. So let's go ahead and see how things go with the rival. The rival first starts off with Pidgeotto, and we open up with Psybeam, taking it to about half as it uses a weak Tackle, then goes to a Sliver before going down. Rattata is up next, and Psybeam takes it to a Sliver, and we get the confusion, but it still does land a quick attack before going down. From there, you have Charmander as it uses Ember, and we take it to yellow. Another Ember connects, and we take it down, only having to take care of Abra, who is kind enough to go down pretty easily for us, after we learn Recover. With that out of the way, we'll go ahead and head to the north, clearing out the trainers. The good news is, if we can't beat Misty, there are still plenty of trainers that we can fight both to the north and to the south. The trainers on the ship are absolutely an option as well, but I'm kind of using that as a last resort, mostly because it's just a pain to go that far down into the game. For now, though, let's go ahead, we'll fight Misty, see how things go. With Staryu out first, we take it to red, and then Misty heals before we take it back to red, then knock it out. Next up is Starmie, and Water Pulse connects, so we use Conversion 2 to block some damage. For those that don't know, Conversion 2 basically turns us into the type of Pokemon that will resist that move, so in this case, Water. Swift hits us, and then we use Recover before going on the offensive. Now, Water Pulse does very little damage, and Psybeam does Thing is, Tackle does honestly about the same amount of damage. We do swap between our attacks, and technically so does Starmie, and it does take us down to 32 HP before we take it down to win the battle, and thankfully the second badge. Alright, since we're now 2 for 2 on our gym battles, we'll go ahead and head down to the south. With that being the case, we'll head onto the ship and then only battle the trainers to get the items that we need. While our TM list is massive, a majority of those won't be available until we get to Celadon. For now, though, let's go ahead and fight the rivals, see how it goes. My guess, I think it'll actually go pretty well, mostly because at this point you get a little over-leveled in these little in-between pockets of the game. Pidgeotto's up first, and we get hit with Quick Attack, taking it down to yellow with Psybeam. Another Quick Attack, and then we can take it down. From there, you have Raticate, and Hyper Fang does a shocking little amount of damage as it goes to red and gets confused. We do Outspeed next turn and take it down with Tackle. Kadabra's up and tries to disable as we use Tackle to take it to a Sliver, then swap to Psybeam as it attempts to disable again but goes down. Charmeleon is last and uses Growl as we use Psybeam, taking it to yellow. Ember honestly doesn't do too much, and then we take it down to win the battle. So from there, we'll go ahead and go give the captain a quick old rub down. We'll then head to the gym, defeating the trainers and most importantly, defeating the trash can puzzle before we go ahead and challenge the lieutenant. Surge starts off with Voltorb, and we get hit with Sonic Boom as we take it to red, and then Surge heals up. Another Sonic Boom connects, and then we can take it down, though we're already almost at half. Pikachu comes out, and we go ahead to take it down with Psybeam before it can paralyze us. Then, finally, you have Raichu, and it sets up Double Team, and we miss it, and it uses Thunder Wave, and we stay paralyzed. Shockwave does some decent damage, and we miss again, so we recover next turn. That's what I'd like to say, but actually we just end up staying paralyzed and then get knocked out. Let me try that one more time. I think we can do it at this level without too much of an issue. The beginning of the battle essentially goes the same, except this time, Voltorb goes down in a single shot. That lets us still, of course, one-shot the Pikachu, but we have more health than we had before. As Raichu comes out and hits us with a Shockwave, we can take it to not quite half with Psybeam, and it sets up Double Team, making our conversion useless. Another Shockwave connects, and we miss Psybeam. This time we go for Recover a little bit earlier, and it gets us back to decent health. Then we get hit with Shockwave and use Conversion to get the ground typing. We do recover, but now all it can use is Quick Attack, but all we can do is miss. This takes a long time, and we do recover when needed, and it just takes us way too long. But we do take it down without too much of a concern. It just took a while because we were missing like it was our job. Alright, so now we have a little bit of travel ahead, and thankfully once we get to Lavender Town and Celadon City, we'll be able to get those upgrades I keep talking about. We can go ahead and upgrade Psybeam to Psychic, and then we can also go ahead and grab Ice Beam and Thunderbolt. I don't think that we'll need Thunderbolt until we get to Lorelei, but Ice Beam can be used off and on in between some of these battles. Given the fact that we have Erica in town, we'll go ahead and fight her first, then Giovanni, then head back to the tower, and then do our mid-game review of Porygon 2. Well, and we open with Psychic, taking it down in one shot, which honestly, no surprise. Unless you're rocking a water type, this can be pretty easy, as you can tell by Tangela going down in one shot as well. We do finally learn Tri-Attack, and that does let us replace Conversion 2, mostly due to the fact that we have Recover, and the chance to inflict a status is honestly pretty nice. With Conversion 2, we have to tank a hit first, so that's the main reason that I ended up getting rid of it. Then, with Vileplume, we get a crit that I don't know we needed, knocking it out and letting us win the next badge without much of an issue. Alright, let's go fight a mob boss for the first time. Also, since the last gym was pretty easy, like I said, when you were younger, what gym did you have the most trouble with, and what gym did you have the easiest time with? For me, Surge was most difficult, mostly because I always had Squirtle, while Brock was an absolute breeze. Anyway, Giovanni. He starts with Onix, and we use Ice Beam, one-shotting it. After that, you have Rhyhorn, and it has the special defense of Paper Mache, so it goes down pretty easily as well. Then, last up is Kangaskhan, and it uses Tail Whip as we use Try Attack to see if we can get a status effect, and it actually does good damage. Mega Punch does solid damage given our lower defense, and we Try Attack it to red. Bite does actually flinch us, but then it just uses Tail Whip before going down. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and grab our Fly Pokemon to make travel a little bit easier, and I'll go ahead and meet you back at the tower through the power of editing. Ooh. Back at the tower, we use Ice Beam, taking the Pidgeotto down with a single shot. Gyarados comes out, and we use Try Attack, taking it to yellow, and it uses a weak Thrash before going down. As Execute comes out, we use Ice Beam, taking it down as well. Then, when Kadabra comes out, our attack has been cut down due to the Intimidate, but we still go for Try Attack, and given our level, we actually do take it down. Finally, you have Charmeleon, and we swap over to Psychic, taking it down in one go to win us the battle, and let us move on. Alright, now that we're at the midpoint of the game, we'll go ahead and cover how Porygon 2 is doing, and honestly, it's not too bad, which I doubt is much of a surprise, especially if you watch the Porygon video. Porygon did surprisingly well for being a first stage Pokemon. I will say that the level up moveset isn't the best because I did, of course, skip from the Porygon, where you could probably get some of these moves, straight to the Porygon 2, but that's okay. As we get into the back half of the game, I could see Koga being an issue, but only if his Pokemon survive the hits, since our defense isn't great, but beyond that, I think Blaine will probably be our biggest threat. I usually write these as I go along, since that's the easiest for me. So even I'm not 100% sure on how things are going to end. I think for a second form Pokemon, we're not doing too bad, though I now realize if I wanted to test how much better Porygon 2 would do, I should have given the rival the same Pokemon I did when I did the Porygon run, because it just makes sense, but also these are in no way, in any capacity, a professionally made video. Now with that, it's time for us to go ahead and see how things go against Koga. Koga first sends out Coughing, and we use Psychic, taking it down in one shot. Next out is Muck, his bulkiest Pokemon, and we take it to yellow as it uses Minimize. Next turn, we miss, and it hits us with Sludge for decent damage, and actually poisons us. But then we can go ahead and take it down. Another Coughing comes out, we can take it down with one shot before it even has a chance to attack. And then finally, his Wheezing comes out, and we take it down with a critical hit that I think was needed to win the battle and the badge. But honestly, if Koga had healed up, we would have probably lost this war of attrition. But with that gym battle out of the way, it's time for us to go ahead and head to Silphco. Given the fact that Porygon 2 has been doing pretty well, we'll just go ahead and get the few things that we need. Then we'll go ahead and go face the rival. Worst case scenario, if we need to, we can go around fighting through the trainers and grabbing some of the vitamins within the building. But if we're lucky, we won't need it. Or maybe if we're just that good, we won't need it. I don't know. Let's go ahead and find out. Pidgeot is up first, so we get hit with Wing Attack as we use Ice Beam, taking it down with a critical hit. Next up is Gyarados, and we continue with Ice Beam, taking it to almost half as it uses Dragon Rage for solid damage. Next turn, we can go ahead and Ice Beam it again, taking it to red as it bites us. We go ahead and recover to get our HP back, and it uses Bite again before we take it down with Try Attack. Charizard comes out and hits us pretty hard with a Flamethrower due to a critical hit as we use Psychic, and since it outspeeds us, just takes us down. After a few attempts, the battle pretty well starts the same way, as we get to the Charizard consistently, but this time, even though it outspeeds us, we get a low roll on both of the damage rolls, so that actually leaves us with 2 HP, so we're able to take it down. Then, as the Execute comes out, it can attack, but since we outspeed, we focus on healing up for a few turns. Even though it does stuns for us, we're still healthy at least. After that, we can swap back to Ice Beam and take it down. And then from there, Alakazam comes out and uses Calm Mind as we take it to yellow with Try Attack. And then we can go ahead and take it out, winning us the battle. Alright, let's go ahead, go fight Giovanni and see how things go. Giovanni first starts with Nidorino, and we open up with Psychic, taking it down with a crit that I know was not needed. Nidoqueen is next. It uses Body Slam, paralyzing us as we retaliate with Psychic to take it to half, then take it out. Kangaskhan comes out and uses Rage and gets poisoned off our copied Poison Point ability. Neat. And we take it to about half with Psychic. Next turn, we're able to take it down without too much of a problem. Then Rhyhorn comes out, and it gets a 5-turn Rock Blast, like it has loaded dice or something. And then we take it down with one shot, winning us the battle. Let's go ahead and head off to Cinnabar Island because I totally remembered at the time we still have to face Sabrina. It's not like I forgot about her or anything. That'd be crazy. Growlithe is up first, and we take it to a Sliver as Fire Blast connects for decent damage. As Blaine heals up, we use Tri Attack and take it back to red, and then we can knock it out. Next up, you have Ponyta, and Psychic takes it to red as Fire Blast connects, taking it down to 35 HP with a crit, and we opt for Recover as Blaine heals up as well. Then, Ponyta uses Fire Blast as we finish healing up, and we take it back to red, get hit, and then heal back up before taking it down. After that, Rapidash is out and hits us with Fire Blast and burns us. So even though we do take it to yellow, we're playing a lot of a healing stall fest. And we do eventually take it down, but then Arcanine comes out, immediately one-shots us, and is also able to outspeed us consistently. This does take a few tries, but after 4 or 5 lost attempts, we make it back to Arcanine. We do take it to almost half, but this time we just lower its special. And it does hit us with Fire Blast for solid damage, but we're not nearly as injured as last time. And then this time, due to this lowered special defense, we're just able to go ahead and take it out to win the battle. After that, we head to Viridian City and go strolling to the gym, only to realize that we are most definitely locked out. So after checking to see who it is that we missed, we head back to Sabrina's gym to do a quick cleanup. Kadabra is first, and we copy Synchronize, which not excited about that, as we use Tri Attack, taking it down in one go. Mr. Mime is out next, so we take it down with one shot as well. After that, you have Venomoth, and we swap over to Psychic to take it down. And then finally, you have Alakazam, and we get hit with Psychic using Tri Attack, taking it down to win the battle. And that lets us get the badge that we missed, and we can head back to Viridian City and actually get inside the gym this time. Giovanni sends out Rhyhorn first, and we open with Ice Beam, taking it down with a one-shot. Nidoqueen is next, and we continue with Psychic to knock it out. Then it's Nidoking, and it's the same process. When Dugtrio comes out, we can one-shot it, and then the same can be said with the Rhyhorn as it goes down to Ice Beam, winning us a pretty final simple badge. From here, we'll go ahead, go fight the rival, and then we can go ahead and kind of talk about the Elite Four and Theorycraft on who we think is going to be the biggest issue for us. Pidgeot is first, and we get hit with Wing Attack as we use Ice Beam, taking it down a one shot. Next out is Rhyhorn, and we use another Ice Beam, taking it down as well. Execute comes out, and we use another Ice Beam, taking it down. Alakazam comes out, sets up Calm Mind, and we use Tri Attack, taking it down. Then you have Gyarados, and we use Psychic, taking it to almost half as Hydro Pump does some decent damage. We do use Recover, and it sets up Rain Dance, which is kind of dangerous, but when we swap back to Psychic, we actually end up taking it down due to a critical hit. This actually ends up helping us because now Charizard's fire attacks won't do nearly as much as we use Psychic, taking it to not quite half, as Charizard uses Scary Face. Flamethrower connects and doesn't do much now that it's weakened. We take it to yellow, tank another hit, then take it down. So with that, it's time for us to head to the Elite Four, and we'll cover each member. Lorelei, I don't think will be too much of an issue, because what we'll go ahead and do is replace Ice Beam with Thunderbolt to make sure that we can take down her team without much trouble. Bruno, Bruno is going to be a god-tier nightmare if he actually ends up outspeeding us. Given the fact that we have a negative speed nature, I have a feeling that's one we'll be trying at least a couple times. Agatha can be an issue for the same reason, assuming that her inaccurate moves do actually end up, connecting. Then Lance, I don't think Lance will be any kind of issue, just given the fact that we can actually replace Thunderbolt with Ice Beam. And then with the final rival, I don't know, honestly. If we can avoid Fire Blast, it shouldn't be too bad, though I still wish I would have picked Blastoise, but no sense in focusing too much on that, at least not until this is done and over with. Alright, Lorelei time. Dugong is first and sets up Pale as we use Thunderbolt, taking it to yellow. Surf connects for decent damage, and then we take it down. Cloyster is out, and since it can't do much, we do go ahead and recover as it sets up Protect. Then we can swap back to Thunderbolt, taking it down. Slowbro comes out, and we use Thunderbolt, taking it to almost red as Surf connects. We know Lorelei will heal, so we do go ahead and select Recover. A Tri Attack is used and connects and paralyzes it as Surf connects. We swap back to Thunderbolt, taking it down with a crit. Lapras can do solid damage with Surf, and we use Thunderbolt to take it to right around half, but the berry takes it out of healing range. We use Recover, and it seems Surf didn't do as much damage as I thought. We do use Tri Attack and tank another Surf before we recover again, just in case we don't take it down. We get Confused Raid, but we break past that and take it down. Then, when Jinx is out, we use Tri Attack, taking it to yellow. Lorelei heals and we smack ourselves, and then recover next turn as it misses Lovely Kiss. We snap out of confusion, using another Tri Attack back to yellow. We end up staying asleep for 4 turns before waking up with only 20 HP remaining to take it out, barely winning this battle. Bruno starts off with Onyx, and we can go ahead and use Psychic, taking it to red as Rock Tomb connects, not only critting us, but also lowering our speed. Bruno heals up and we take it back to red, but now it outspeeds us and Earthquakes us before we take it down. Hitmonchan then comes out and uses Sky Uppercut, critting us into oblivion. This takes a long time, and we try this dozens of times, but sadly, we're just not able to get past it, so without too much of a choice, we just end up having to level up a little bit. At level 60, we use Ice Beam against the Onyx, taking it down before it can wreck my speed. Hitmonchan comes out, and Sky Uppercut is still doing massive damage, but we do take it to red. Knowing Bruno will heal, we do go ahead and recover, just to make sure that we're good. And then we go ahead and swap over to Tri Attack, and actually take it down with a critical hit. Hitmonlee is out, and we get hit with Brick Break for solid damage as we use Tri Attack, taking it to yellow, and then another Brick Break takes us to 31 HP before we take it down. Machamp comes out, and we use Psychic, taking it down with a critical hit that was absolutely needed. Then, you have the final Onyx, so we swap to Ice Beam to be able to take it down, and finally move on. With any luck, Agatha won't be as difficult. Let's find out. Agatha first sends out Gengar, and we're able to one-shot it. From there, we can also go ahead and one-shot the Golbat. Now with Arbok, it does actually outspeed, and uses Sludge Bomb, and sadly gets that poison before going down. With the next Gengar, it's mostly just a lot of back and forth healing, since it heals when it's down low, and then we also have to heal up due to the poison damage. But honestly, we don't really get punished for the length of this battle, and we do take it down. And then finally, Haunter comes out, and for whatever reason uses Curse. So, with it only having half HP when we attack, we just take it down and win this battle pretty easily. Alright, let me go ahead. We'll see how things go against Lance, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do this pretty easily, actually. Lance starts off with Gyarados, and we get hit with Dragon Rage as we use Ice Beam, taking it to not quite half. Bite does decent damage, and then we take it to yellow. Another Bite connects, and then we use Recover. After that, we use the Psychic move to take it to red. Lance does heal up, and we chip away at it back to yellow before taking it down. Aerodactyl comes out and uses Ancient Power, and we use Ice Beam, taking it to yellow as we swap to Psychic, as Hyper Beam does a little bit, and then it goes down. Dragonite comes out, and Outrage takes us to 3 HP as we use Ice Beam, taking it down in one shot. 2 to go, and I am too scared to heal. Dragonair comes out, and it goes down in one turn, and then the next Dragonair comes out, and we take it down as well in one turn to win a very narrow, very scary battle. Pidgeot's first, so we open with Ice Beam, as it only uses Feather Dance before going to red. The rival heals, and we take it back to red, and then it uses Aerial Ace before we take it down. Alakazam comes out and Psychics us as we use Tri Attack for not a lot of damage as we recover, then take it to yellow before taking it down. As Executor comes out, we recover stall a little bit, then swap to Ice Beam, taking it to red as it misses Sleep Powder. We do take it back to red, and you'll forgive me the footage being weird, but Steam notifications were driving me insane, and I just, for whatever reason, decided, this battle's the perfect place to pull those up right now and turn them off. And then we take it down. Rhydon is next, and it goes down easy, and then with Gyarados, it's always going to be a stall fest, but we can take it down after far too many turns, and then with Charizard, comes out and Fire Blast does way too much damage, misses the next turn, but then a few turns later crits us with Fire Blast to take us down. We do try this a few times, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I fumble hard. In my haste of trying to get the battle done, we ignored the most obvious way to beat this, and that's just Recover Strat and PP stall Fire Blast. And I don't know why this escaped my mind at the time. We end up leveling up to 70, but honestly, the fight doesn't change much at all. The first few Pokemon are one-shots or easy knockouts until we get to Gyarados, and then with Gyarados, it just takes us a long time. And then with Charizard, like 5 attempts in, we finally think to, wait out the 5 PP that Fire Blast actually has. Once we do that, all he has is Slash. It can freely attack with Psychic while we go ahead and just tank slashes. The berry does take it from healing range, and then we can take it down to win the battle, the run. But like I said, this isn't exactly a victory that I'm thrilled about. Either way, though, I do hope that you'd like this particular run. Rob, on a previous video, suggested putting these into a tier list, almost like Scott's thoughts, but rather than doing it based on how well the Pokemon performed, do it on how much fun I had. So I decided, you know what, that's a great idea, and I decided to make this little thing. It's not well put together just yet because I'm still very much working on it, though I think this one would probably go into the B tier. It was fun, but not selecting Blastoise and the fumble I had at the end, admittedly brought it down a little bit for me. On the flip side, though, I have no idea what I'm doing next week, though I did get an idea for a legendary race that I want to do, going Knowledge versus Easy Mode. For now, though, that's just an idea that I have. I will say for this particular tier list, I'm not going to be able to get all the thumbnails because where my computer crashed. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of them from YouTube and actually make it look halfway decent. Or maybe I can. I don't know my own skill level, if I'm being honest. But for now, as always, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.